legal for everyone to have their choice. Because in Children's Hospital, there were parents that had no idea. My daughter would be in crisis in the ICU unit. She would receive acupuncture or Chinese herbal therapy. And the next day she'd be out and horseback riding. That's how strong it is. So from that standpoint, it's not just acupuncture, although that's my go-to. It would be absolutely everything that has proven effective for anyone that has run out of options. Because that's where they all go, and we all know it. After the MDs have nothing to offer, that's when they start to look at us. And it's not just me, but a 59-degree scoliosis, 2 curves, had been told for over 20 years that there was nothing that could be done except surgery to break her spine, put rods in on either side of it, and screws. And I helped her achieve her full height with no blood loss, thank you, and no pain mechanism at all. She just changed on the table in less than 3 hours. So that's who we all are. See, that's who we all are. It isn't just me. It's you. It's all of you. You all have that. That's an innate ability that each one of us have as a being of light, but we're not utilizing it. You know what? Fear, ignorance, shame, okay? Those are players in our reality. And those players don't need to be there. Those players are the lower and lesser energies that we have agreed to so that we can learn that we don't need them. And then move forward. That's who we are. I'm good. I've explained who I am. We can open now for questions, I guess. Hello, Amy. What do you think? It's 8:30, so.
Oh, yeah. I have a question. What exactly is anecdotal, like good alignment? What is the healing process itself?
Well, I thought that was phase 2.
Sorry.
Hey, I'll cover it now. I don't care. What if I told you less? Okay. See, there's energy. Okay. You can't see it. You can't hear it. You can't taste it. You can't touch it. All right. Some people can hear it. And in a descending way, what happens is there's energy. Call it spirit. Okay? Well, then spirit becomes a soul. So that there are lots of soul groups, like there are lots of colors to the rainbow. So soul, we all have a soul. And in a deciding factor to become physical, we need to decide what species we're going to be, because everything comes from spirit. So the changes that happen are what species. Okay, because we made the decision, we're going to be here. Am I going to be a tree? Or am I going to be a whale? Or am I going to be a human? Because it's broad spectrum. I am all of them all at the same time. So every single species has its own blueprint. It's a standardization series of features. Hopefully with a human being, it's one head, 2 arms, 2 legs, eyes, nose, mouth, toes, gender. Gender comes in there. So, but the blueprint for the species is identical from human to human to human to human. I don't care whether you're 3 feet tall or you're 7 feet tall, because I've had both of them. It's exactly the same blueprint. You adjust to size. Okay, that's cool. If any of you are aware of architecture, all ranch houses, all dwellings essentially have the same several features. Walls, floor, ceiling, okay? And then becomes the individual aspects. Okay, what color are you going to put the walls? Is it going to be stone, or is it going to be wood, or is it going to be plaster? Those are individual aspects. So for a human being, beyond gender, because we only have 2 of them. Well, we've got more, but anyway, 2 are the primaries. What we have are hair color, eye color, size, shape, and then come accommodations, okay? Accommodations would be things like mom's nutrition. Is she getting enough mineral? Is she getting enough of whatever it is, folic acid, for the growing fetus? Is she getting enough? Because that has to do with the development of the being, okay? I worked on a ranch. So when it came to breeding season, we had 5 working stallions and probably 20 mares. When it came down to breeding, for about a month beforehand, we would amp up on the nutrition for both the stallion and the mares, because I was at an Arabian ranch. So those babies are going to go for ish, life old drop, filly, $250,000. Okay? And she didn't get that because she was in Colorado, but she had sold something like that. So you want to make sure that that baby, whatever species it is going to be the top of the line. That's the nutrition. So for human beings, we have to take a look at that too. And obviously, gynecologists, midwives do. So from that standpoint, where we go then is local pollution. Is this being living in a hazardous waste dump site? Under, major high tension lines? Is there going to be too much metal in the water? Is that going to affect the fetal development? Okay? Mosquitoes. Not that I believe in Zika virus, because I don't. But that's something that is, now. And isn't it surprising that when they come up with the Zika virus in about 6 weeks, they have an antidote for it? Find that interesting. Anyway, that's the local environment, whether it's belief systems or it's actual nutrition that is affecting the fetal development. Now then, as the baby is born, figuring that the baby is healthy, happy, and whole, okay, the kid goes to school or preschool or something. And then come the beliefs. So typically, and I'll say this with scoliosis, okay, 80%, and I've heard this from my teachers, 80% of scoliosis has to do with gender and growing up through adolescence. So a young woman, psychologically, may be afraid to put herself into competition with mommy for dad's love. So what she does is she hunches her shoulders and she starts to stoop over. She doesn't present who she is as a feminine being. She's not comfortable there. She can't walk that walk. She piss off mommy or get daddy's love. That's not a good scenario for kids. So they change. Okay? So we all change, we all adapt. Now, are those adaptations necessary for a being of light? No, not really. It's an accommodation. We've made ourselves so that we're safe in our environment, but does that fulfill our mission statement? And the answer is not really. So from that standpoint, the axiotonal works with the blueprint of the species, so that the blueprint, rather than being misunderstood or misaligned, becomes clear, so that there's less static in it, so that the awareness and the understanding of who you are to be here changes. And when that changes, everything else changes. Okay? People walk differently in the world when they're more conscious of who they are. And it's not a verbal dialoguing process by any stretch. Because really, truly, everybody had a gutsy childhood. Okay, I've heard it all. Really, I've heard it all. Really. And I don't need to hear any more of it. What I need to do, and what my essential mission with this is to help clear someone's awareness so that they can move forward clearly with their own intention. And it doesn't have anything to do with me. One of the research scientists that I worked with and I had, so another point here and then we can break. Pretty much everybody that's on the planet at this point in time has been exposed to radiation poisoning. Pretty much everybody. You know, and there's a way of clearing it. And, you know, people clear it all the time and then, but their environment is so heavily polluted that they're going to be re-exposed and re-exposed and re-exposed. So finally, at probably 11:30 one night, when Pat and I were talking, he said, do you know what the future of the human species looks like? Nope. No clue. I mean, we're all here. But do I know if that's a trigger point for consciousness? And potentially it is. I can't say that it's not, because it's planet-wide. And anything that moves to be planet-wide that quickly, within a term of 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, has got to be a global trigger. It has to be. Because A, there's no such thing as coincidence. Spirit isn't going to make an accident here. Okay? And I have to trust. That's it. So I don't know why many of the things that happen have happened. I'm not that person, and I'm not going to pretend to be that person. What I'm going to tell you is what I tell all of my students all of the time. I'm a really good technician. I'm a really good technician. I can see and hear and know things that maybe other people don't get yet. I have a different style of working with energy than most people do. I have a different awareness around energy than most people do. And if you're familiar with the Keys of Enoch by J.J. Hurtak, and the book is over there, this particular work that I'm going to be talking about is spoken about in that work. It's called medical astronomy. And I've known and have met Dr. Hurtak several times. And he had come to refer to me as the exotonal woman in New York. Because I have a very, very, very different understanding of it than pretty much anybody else that has ever worked with it. There we are. Let's order up.
Thank you.